In today's episode, we take a look at setups on New Zealand dollar US dollar, pound US dollar, pound Aussie, New Zealand Swiss franc, EURJPY, and as always, we also take a look at some of the best trades from a Discord trading room. Enjoy. Welcome to another weekly market review, guys. Sorry for being absent last week. I was on a bit of a holiday and I was unable to do the episode. Back now and ready to trade again. And I'm going to start us off by looking at the New Zealand dollar US dollar. And this is one we actually discussed before my holiday. And if you guys remember a couple of weeks ago, I did mark off these double tops and I mentioned that we could potentially clear these double tops before coming down. Now I still have the same trade idea in mind, and this is just a bit of a continuation on this. And I'm still looking for this market to head lower to clear these lows and potentially fill in this void all the way down here. So what I'm going to be looking for next week is potentially a bit of a correction on this side to form a bit of a head and shoulders reversal pattern. And once we get into these areas, this is where we will switch to the lower time frames and start looking for reversal patterns to take this market lower. And like I say, hopefully end up filling this void. Now, of course, it is possible that this market doesn't turn and it just heads higher. So how you approach it, will depend on you if you want to place, set and forget order, or if you rather want to wait for a bit of a confirmation on the lower time frames. And I'm just going to drop down to the 1 hour time frame here, and I've marked three levels. The first is this liquidity level that we're definitely going to have to clear. This is that pivot level that I marked on the higher time frame, and then up here we got the order block. So those are the sort of the levels we're going to be watching for, our price action patterns. And if we find anything there, then hopefully we can take this market lower. Pretty big move if we get it, but again, we're just going to have to see how this develops. But definitely one I'll be watching next week. Next up, pound USD, and this is just a little level that I'll be watching. I don't know if you're going to get there, but this is a little bit of a flip zone level. Those that trade in our community knows that this is one of our favorite setups in the community. It's not 100%, it's more or less a 50%, but because you get such a good reward ratio, it's definitely worth taking these sort of setups. We had the drop in the market and then it found the resistance or support, and then it broke through, found the resistance, and then we had the impulse through. Now, it's possible that this market will continue higher, but if we do next week perhaps make a move back into this level, then this is when we switch to the lower time frames, and if you find any reversals, or you could potentially take this as a set and forget, and then ideally take this market higher. Now, how high it will go, I'm not too sure. Just switching to the daily time frame, looking for potential targets. If we do find a reversal at this level, I'd say that the first target would be this pivot level. There's also a bit of a gap here. And then ultimately, I think we could even go to clear these clean highs before the structure will change and we might find a bigger correction. But that's a long way in the future. For now, these are the levels I'll be targeting if I do find a long on pound USD. Another pound pair on my watch list is pound Aussie dollar. A couple of weeks ago, we were actually looking for longs when the market looked like it started correcting over here. But then it had the big dump, and this is why you wait for confirmation and you have your rules on the lower time frame. And the market cleared these lows and cleared this liquidity, and then we had the impulsive move. Now, if we do form a bit of a correction here, and it does look like we're forming some corrective price action, and we get back to this pivot level into this order block level, then here I'll be looking for my price action to ideally take this market higher to clear, all this clean liquidity we have up here, and even going a bit further to, to fill this void and even this gap over here. But definitely one I'll be looking to get long once we get to this area, and we'll see how this one develops. Alright, New Zealand Swiss franc is another one I'll be looking for longs, as I do have a bit of a bullish bias on this one. After we had this incredible dump on New Zealand and Aussie pairs, it had impulsive move up, and then what looks like a corrective pattern, impulsive move up, and now it looks like we're forming a correction again. So what I'll be looking at is corrective patterns, and then to take this market higher, and my minimum target would be new highs over here. Now there's just a couple of scenarios I can see playing out here. Now of course it is possible that the market dumps and creates new lows. You can never be 100% sure in this market, but the probability because of the structure looks like it's to the upside. And I'll be looking for two scenarios. The one would be if we find a bit of a corrective price action or a pattern over here to take the market long, or alternatively, if we do perhaps make a new low. Once we get to this order block here, we'll be looking at the lower time frames and see if we can find a pattern to take this market higher. A potential really good reward ratio on this one, so definitely one worth watching. And the last setup I want to cover is EURJPY, and we're on the 8-hour time frame here. Now the market had this big bullish run, and after that it looks like a bit of a distribution, and it did form a bit of a head and shoulders, and I've drawn in the neckline over here. Now, I don't really normally trade these necklines, but this is just going to give you a good idea of where I'm looking potentially to take this market lower. And we also have a bit of an order block over here. So next week, once we get into this area again, we treat this as our potential action zone, and we look for our lower time frame reversal patterns. And ideally, if we do get a reversal, I want this bigger structure to complete. And take this market to these lows to form this expanding flat. Now, in the event that this market does make new highs, once we get to these new highs, again, yeah, I'll be looking to short the market. This is just a bit of a backup plan. You always have to have different scenarios in mind. But as it stands right now, this is definitely looking like a very good potential action zone. And once we get here, like I say, we'll switch to the lower time frames and to see if we can find an entry to take this lower. That's it from me, guys. Good luck for next week, and I'll see you all in the trading room.